Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Jelim's vlog. My name is Jess, otherwise known by my author moniker Jelim, and today I am going to do what I do best and tell you a story. So I asked last episode whether or not you wanted an adventure story or a war story, and the votes that I got back were for an adventure story, so that's what I'm going to tell today. If you're not subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you could do it. It helps me and it allows you to follow my progress on the vlog and progress of the projects that I have ongoing. Links to my socials are also down below in the description, including my Patreon, where you can get a ton more content for as low as $5 a month. Without further ado, let's get started. The title of this short story is The Token Curse. Once, a very long time ago, there lived a boy named Daniel who was the only heir of his family's small trading company. The company, which held a small but profitable business transporting various goods from the Southern Isles to the southern Aldovian city of Port Lovelon, was doing well enough, but Daniel sought something more. Daniel dreamed of a company that spanned the known world and beyond, connecting the 3 continents with the Southern Isles. But such things were easier said than done. Aldovia benefited greatly from its proximity to the Southern Isles, but the western continent was a long journey, and only accessible 6 to 8 months out of the year thanks to the hurricanes that spanned the Jade Sea in the spring and summer months. Not to mention that the people there didn't much enjoy the company of others. Then there was the southern continent, which may have been the largest continent out of the 3, and held the most countries, but also didn't grant their trading tokens to just anybody. One day, at 16, frustrated with his father's insistence that what they had was enough, Daniel boarded one of his father's ships with like-minded individuals from his home island and sailed off into the night, determined to return having expanded his father's company. The ship, much to Daniel's disappointment, held only a few crates of fruits that had yet to be offloaded from Aldovia, and another crate that held within it a longsword, a shield, and a dagger. Daniel was a little confused by the weapons, as his family had never traded in such things, but he quickly came to the conclusion that these products were the most valuable things on board. The small merchant ship made its way south for 3 weeks, sighting the northern coast of the southern continent. They landed in the Tuluvian city of Elgrace, built around the entrance of a wide river that was a well-known shipping lane, through to the more inland parts of the continent, and right beside it was the fabled Fairy Wood. Daniel and his shipmates were immediately stopped from trading their goods, for nobody could trade in the southern continent without first earning a trading token. Upon inquiring as to how to acquire one of these tokens, Daniel learned that he must produce 1,000 gold pieces and have an active member of the Traders' Union vouch for his business. After inquiring with many merchants for several days, he found one weapons merchant from the south who was particularly interested in the shield, sword, and dagger he had in his ship's hold. The merchant agreed that should Daniel procure the 1,000 gold within 3 days, he would vouch for Daniel's business and even buy the set after he earned the token. Hitting a roadblock so early in his journey, Daniel was stuck on what to do. How was he to come up with 1,000 gold in 3 days? He wandered the streets of the city, thinking that perhaps this had been the reason his father had never branched out, when he came across a woman on all fours searching the ground desperately. "Miss, are you all right?" The woman looked up quickly. "I've lost my offering. I've lost it." "Offering?" The woman didn't reply as she continued to search the dirty ground. "Might I know what it looks like so I might help you?" asked Daniel. "A silk ribbon, gold in colour. the woman replied. Daniel looked around in the dark night, only to spot the ribbon several moments later partially caught on a nearby building. "Oh, thank you, sir, thank you," the woman said as she took it, and Daniel noticed there were small words embroidered onto the ribbon. "Might I ask who or what the offering is for?" asked Daniel. "The Kitsune," said the woman, "goddess of the fairy wood." Daniel looked understandably confused. He had never heard of such a goddess, nor a Kitsune. "There are only 6 gods." "Oh no," the woman smiled. "It's more of a nickname than an actual status. We call her that because if you place your desire on the wishing tree near her home, and she sees it as both good-intentioned and selfless, and your offering is strong enough, she grants your wish." Daniel was not so convinced by this story. It seemed quite unrealistic, but the woman was insistent. "Come, I will show you." Having nothing to lose, Daniel followed the woman into the nearby wood, and they walked for many hours before they came across an old oak tree that had many ribbons of varying colours and length dangling from the branches, each embroidered with a wish. It was a beautiful sight, but Daniel saw no evidence that any of the wishes had been granted, nor did he see any sign of this Kitsune. Asking about it, the woman pointed towards a stone altar to the side that held 2 beautiful jade statues of 2 elegant women with the ears of foxes and each with 7 tails. One statue was carved from white jade, the other green. "There are 2 Kitsune?" asked Daniel. "No," the woman shook her head, pointing to the statues. "The white one is the Kitsune, who grants the wishes of the good-intentioned and selfless. The green is the no Kitsune, who answers the pleas of those who seek revenge at great costs." Daniel looked at the trees. "Are some of these ribbons for the no Kitsune as well? You only mentioned the Kitsune before." The woman shook her head. "To invite the no Kitsune is to invite bad omens into your life. Nobody would invite them unless they were truly desperate." Daniel could tell this woman's belief was quite profound, and that these goddesses, the Kitsune and no Kitsune, were important figures to these people. But he also knew how expensive jade was. Such an intricately carved figure would surely earn him the 1,000 gold he would need with ease. Daniel thanked the woman for her help, and waited until she left the area. Then he took the jade statues from the altar, hiding them in his bag. As he raced back towards the city, he felt dark shadows over his shoulder as words seemed to whisper into his mind. "To steal an offering so pure away. May their fate be the same as yours and your bloodlines." Taking his ship south to the next city on the river for good measure, Daniel sold the 2 statues in an auction, convinced that whatever curse had befallen him upon stealing them was now gone along with the statues. He returned to Elgrace with the money and earned himself a trade token along with selling the weapons from his ship's hold. Now in possession of 2,000 gold, he used half of it to buy fabric and pelts before sailing his ship west along the northern coast and earning more trade tokens as he went. Within a year, he had sailed all the way south to Yordan and had earned trading tokens and quite a fortune and reputation along the way. Daniel sailed back home to the Southern Isles with all that he had achieved, earning for his family the name Token, and bringing their company into the world's spotlight. He married and had 3 sons over the next 5 years, but with every year that passed, something changed in Daniel as he grew more and more anxious, his dreams filled with the words of the curse that seemed to follow him everywhere he went, even after he had rid himself of the statues. It was not until Daniel was in an auction in the southern continent almost 10 years after his return home that he convinced himself of a solution to the curse that followed him and would surely follow his sons as well. There, on the auction podium, was the white jade statue of the Kitsune. Daniel bought the statue and returned to Elgrace, finding himself at the still empty stone altar after 11 years and replacing the white jade statue. He felt some relief, but it did not at all feel like enough. If anything, the cloud over him grew heavier. As Daniel turned to leave, he saw in the fork of the tree A woman with golden hair and pointed fox ears with the same gold fur. Behind her, 7 tails flicked and twitched as they moved. She eyed him for a long moment. "I'm sorry," he spoke desperately. "I'm sorry I took them." The woman tilted her head as she appraised him, then she spoke. "I believe you." "Thank you, but my sister will not," she said, her tone dropping in warning. "And she is the one you must be most wary of." I can find the other. I will find it and bring it back." The woman smiled with ridicule and was gone in a flash, only her voice left behind. "Try, if you must. But if she finds it before you or your bloodline, her quest for vengeance on you and your bloodline will not be ended." Desperate, Daniel searched everywhere for the green jade statue, convinced that returning it would relieve him of his sins. But the only evidence he found of it was that its last owner had determined to journey across the wide ocean and had not been seen in 8 years. Utterly convinced that he would find the green jade statue and return it, Daniel set sail across the wide ocean, leaving his young family and the business he had built behind, never to be seen again. And so was the fate of every descendant of Daniel Token, to be lost or stolen away just as the jade statues of the Kitsune and Nogitsune had been, until either the Token bloodline returned what they had taken, or the Nogitsune found it herself and ended the Token bloodline to fulfill her quest for vengeance. Well guys, that's it for today. I apologise for the shoddy animation. I'm not an animator myself, so I did the best I could with what I have available to me. Next week I am going to do a vlog covering the wider plan for the Monster Inside Chronicles. This will maybe give you some of the same information that I have given out previously, but also some new information that you may not have heard before. So please look forward to that. I'll also have to apologise for this vlog being a couple of days late, been a bit of a busy week. Next time I will attempt to make it on time, but not 100% sure if I will be able to. Because I do have a couple of things planned that week as well. I shall do my very best though. Thanks again for joining me, and I shall see you next time. See you later.